with. Thank you for joining us this morning. So, again, this month is National Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. So, again, this issue doesn't only impact teens, but it impacts parents, teachers, friends, communities. So we are going to talk a little bit about that this morning. And I did want to share a couple statistics with you guys. So nationwide, youth age from 12 to 19 experience the highest rates of rape and sexual assault. And teen dating violence affects nearly 10% of all teenagers throughout the U.S. So this includes stalking, harassment, physical, sexual abuse. It includes a lot. And another fact that I wanted to share is that girls are more likely to suffer long-term behavioral and health consequences, including suicide attempts, eating disorders, and drug abuse. So with that being said, I do have Paola here with me this morning. Hi. And she's going to share her story on dating violence and awareness. So.
Hello, Michelle. Well, it's funny because how you listed all the things, I'm like, oh my God, I went through all of them. And it's true. When I was 17, and I think I've shared it before, I ran away from home and moved to Atlanta here with my boyfriend back in the day. And I was going through a lot of domestic violence. That's what I call it, you know. But back, I didn't think it was violence, but emotional violence is one of the biggest, and I think verbal abuse comes, and you don't see it as it's being, it's an abuse.
Yeah.
You kind of just say, well, he just treats me that way,
yeah.
And you normalize it.
Yeah.
But then it came to the point where I was being hit, every weekend or whatever, because there's substance abuse as well.
Right.
And I consider myself. When I moved out, when I left home, I thought I knew it all. I thought I was in control. I thought I had, I was ready for life.
Yeah.
But oh, surprise, I wasn't. And going back into my high school years, I remember my friends being in the same situations in school, but I didn't think it was, it was violence or it was they being harassed or anything. I was mentioning that one of my friends, her boyfriend in high school would make hickeys on her, like on her neck, and there was one point where he did a hickey on her forehead, kind of like to mark his territory,
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny, I was like, what is wrong? Like, that is funny.
Yeah.
But now that I'm an adult and I see the red flag that is, that is not funny. It's you're basically marking a person without their consent, because my friend wasn't happy about it. She was embarrassed.
Yeah.
She was, put out there. Everybody could see the hickey in her forehead. It was like, what happened?
Yeah.
And she had to explain that, and it was just embarrassing. And she had to deal with that. And I remember her going through some verbal abuse as well from her boyfriend in high school. And we're like, well, you guys are just, we minimize it. We think like it's fine. Everything's going to be okay. Just he loves you.
Yeah.
It's because he loves you. He's being so jealous and possessive and all that. But it's not. That is not the way it is, And now as an adult, I try to talk to my daughter a lot. I have an 11-year-old. She's a sixth grader. Mm-hmm. And the things she tells me that little girls go through are way different from what I went through.
Oh, yeah.
If I thought it was bad, right now is like really bad.
It's worse. Yeah.
It's really bad. Yeah. So I try to give my daughter the tools she needs. One of the things of course I tell her, we pray every morning before she heads out to school. But one of the things I tell her is like, do not ever allow anybody to tell you that you're not worth it, or that you have no worth, that you're not pretty, that you can do this. You can do anything you want.
Right.
Don't let anybody destroy the way you feel about yourself. Because one of the things that you were saying, the self-image, the harassment, they get that a lot in social media. They'll post like students. My daughter took a picture of this girl in her classroom where it wasn't her best pose.
Yeah.
And they posted on TikTok, and they put comments on it, and they bully her because of her weight, because of her hair. Who knows? It's just They do all kinds of stuff. And of course, they all share it throughout the school. So now the whole school knows that this girl, you know, that they've been body shaming her, that, you know, she's not pretty or whatever. And it just it crushes their spirit,
Right.
you know, the way they
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
So it's just something that you can't, that you have to prevent. As a mom, I would say to all the parents that are looking at us and listening to this is, you have to give your teenagers, your daughters, your sons, the equipment that they need, you know, everything, the tools.
attention, the
Exactly.
attention,
Talk
too.
to them, ask them how was school, what's going on, you know, what happened, you know, all that conversation. You need to be present.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays it's like, there's no if, like you have to.
Absolutely. No. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, and you ask yourself, well, what can we do? What can we do to help teens that are struggling through this, that are going through this, right? And so one is talk to them. I mean, everyone can make a difference.
Right.
You know, reaching out to the young, you know, youngins really, because it's that that gap that I was telling you guys between 12 and 19 that can go through this. Look out for warning signs. So, like she said, it's not just the physical, but it's also the verbal abuse. Get involved, even if you don't have all the resources. Get involved with like information table,
Right.
classroom discussion, like school announcements. I mean, whatever it is, like you can reach out and someone's always willing to help. I mean, we're here as well. You know, friends, word of mouth, whatever it may be.
And if
then-
they're in school, report it to the school. Report it. That's very important, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I did want to end it with a Bible verse. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart and saves us such as a contrite spirit. Psalms 34:18. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us today. Again, this month, for the month of February, is National Teen Dating Violence Month and Awareness Prevention. So if you have a similar story that you want to share, that you've overcome, again, this is not just targeting teens. This is also anybody that's being affected, whether it's
Right.
parents, teachers, or if it happened in the past. We're not asking if you're currently experiencing to come here and share your story, but if you know of anybody or, you know, willing to share, please feel free to reach out to me. Kimberly and Gamma as well are behind this segment as well. So please stay tuned for the remaining of the year. Again, this whole month we're going to be talking about the National Teen Dating Violence and Awareness Prevention. Thank you so much.